Cosmic Beta 1 has released, and today I thought of making a video about Cosmic Desktop as, if someone is new to Cosmic or people who generally just haven't used Cosmic yet, to show off what Cosmic offers and why this desktop environment exists, because there is a lot of people who have asked that, where I have reviewed the new versions of Cosmic and they don't really know much about the desktop environment. They don't know what you can do with it, how much you can customize it, what apps are included out of the box, all those types of things I would like to go over. And of course, when it comes to the bugs that are left, when it comes to the gaming stuff today with Beta 1, how good is it today, all of those things. So the first thing that we'll go over is, what is the Cosmic Desktop environment? And the first thing to know is that this is not the same Cosmic Desktop that is on PopOS LTS right now. That version of Cosmic is GNOME with its own Cosmic theme on top, and they have a bunch of extensions applied to it to make it look unique. This is a full new desktop environment, a Wayland first desktop environment that is fully developed under Rust. So it's very low-level code that they have created when it comes to a toolkit for Cosmic, so they can make applications on it. And then they have made a Rust Wayland compositor as well for the desktop environment, so then they can actually start making features like HDR, VRR, make your monitors work, all those types of things. So as it says here, Cosmic, foundational software for designing beautiful user experiences. Test the beta on September 25th. So it's 24th for me right now. So it should release tomorrow sometime. And here is some screenshots of what Cosmic looks like. And the main thing with Cosmic is that it doesn't really force you into a particular use case. If you look at these screenshots, they're all different. Each one of them are customized differently with different colors, different panels and dock setup. It allows the user to customize it to their liking in mostly a freedom way, I would say. It says features for all, best for users, best for your product. Impress users with the tools you build for them. Cosmic offers better performance, efficiency, and in-depth personalization to empower a wide variety of use cases. Create custom UX. Quickly code your project with modular elements created with the customization in mind. Panels, applets, theming, tiling, launcher, app library, wallpaper slideshows, and dynamic or pinned workspaces are all made flexible to bend to your users' needs. So one of the things is, when I've looked over some of the presentations that the Cosmic developers have done at some Linux conventions when they show off Cosmic, is that they really want developers to create, or let's say a company like an OEM laptop company or a Linux distro, to create a desktop environment for their users. So let's say, for example, Fedora wants to use Cosmic because there is a Cosmic spin. They can customize it to their liking for their users out of the box. So they could have, of course, the normal Fedora wallpaper, but then they could also change the panel, the dock, they can change the colors so it can make it look like the Fedora color theme for it. Like what it says here, theming on brand. Cosmic's custom theming system makes it easy to create a default theme with your organization's color palette without compromising on readability. So you can see here on NixOS, the theme here is pretty close to, I guess, the NixOS logo that is there. And then it says applications made easy. Cosmic empowers frictionless development by being approachable, easy to maintain, and modular, perfect for forking. Using the same language as the toolkit to build apps and applets with helpful templates provided, which there is a decent amount of Cosmic applications now, I would say, and Cosmic applets. And it says protected against crashing. Cosmic is built in Rust, a memory-safe programming language that excels in stability and security, which is relatively true. Rust is supposedly really good when it comes to memory-safe. Of course, it's not fully memory-safe, but supposedly it's better than other low-level code languages. And then keep your data secure. As a Wayland native desktop environment built in Rust, Cosmic eliminates vulnerabilities like keylogging, input spoofing, and benefits from Rust memory safety guarantees that dramatically reduce common attack surfaces like buffer overflows and use after free bugs. So now you know what Cosmic is. Let's see what you get out of the box, because this isn't the default look. This is my setup that I have currently, and I'm always changing it, trying out different layouts and color themes. But let's just see what it looks like out of the box if a user decided to install, I guess, the regular Pop! OS ISO with the Cosmic desktop. So as we can see here, this is what the default look looks like when you first install Cosmic. If you installed the Pop! OS ISO or a distro that doesn't customize Cosmic, this is the default look. So we have a panel at the top here and a dock at the bottom. Of course, the dock, I would say, the icons are pretty big. I think that's perfectly fine. You can easily change it, which I'll show very soon. But I guess we'll look at the panel first. So on the left side, we have our workspaces. So this is going to bring up all the applications that you have on individual workspaces. That's the cool thing about Cosmic. Each monitor that you have, you can individually customize each workspace, and you can pin certain workspaces as well, as you can see right here. So if I pin it, then it's always going to be there on top. Then we have the applications button, which brings up the Cosmic launcher. Now the Cosmic launcher, I would say it is basically identical to the one that is on the Pop! OS GNOME version of that Cosmic desktop, and it's pretty simple. You got your folders here. Now I've created many different folders just to organize things a little bit, but you'll have your library home, you'll have your system, your utilities, and then I've created these folders here to separate things more. And I would say it is pretty good. The only gripe I have about the Cosmic launcher is the scrolling speed is, I would say, a bit slow. I noticed that it's a bit faster now than it was before on the older versions of Cosmic, but I think it just needs to be a little bit faster. And if the Cosmic developers don't want to increase it anymore, I think having an option for it in these settings would be great. So then I can easily just scroll through this nice and fast. And of course, like I said, I've created extra folders, so you're able to create as many folders as you want. If we just keep going, test, it goes underneath and it creates another row. You can probably do like a lot, I would say. And then here we go. We're now going on to the next row, I think. No, okay, I see. When it's on a second row, it just gets longer horizontally. So I wonder how far we can actually go with folders. I guess we can just go on forever, honestly. We're going into the third row now, and as I said, it's gotten longer horizontally. So you can really make as many folders as you want. Then at the top here in the middle, we have our calendar. So it's going to show simply, the date, the time. You can open up the calendar, date and time calendar setting as well. Then we have the language applet that is up here. So we can easily change the language. If you have multiple languages, you can go to keyboard settings here, and then it will open up even more options where you can add more input sources for whatever language you want to add to the desktop environment. Then we do have the status applets, you could call. So the legacy applications that want to create their own little status applet thing that is available, unlike other desktop environments, GNOME. So really nice that that is already there. Then the next applet that we have is the tiling applet. So this is where we can tile a current workspace if we want to, and then the new workspace behavior. So if we create another workspace, we can choose between if it wants to be tiled or floating, and then it has instructions on how to use the tiling on Cosmic. So let's say we got a bunch of apps opened here. What it says is if you want to toggle a floating window, you can do Super G. And then for some reason, they don't have the toggle actual tiling mode on the keyboard. I think they just expect you to click this here. But if you want to tile a workspace, you do Super plus Y. So there you go. Now our applications are all tiled. And this is where we can either use our mouse to move these applications around. We can easily stack a window if we want to. And then let's say we don't want that window to be stacked anymore. We can just right click up here and go unstack window. Then if you want to do this on the keyboard, you can just do Super Shift and then use your arrow keys. So that will select the application that you have already clicked on. That's what it's going to do. And you can just see the behavior here of how it works. I would say it is pretty freaking awesome. Someone who doesn't do tiling, because I use KDE Plasma, the tiling on that is not automatic. You have to do it manually. This is amazing. And then if you want to move an application onto another workspace, you can just use the same thing as before. Just do super shift and then arrow keys, and then you can move it to a new workspace. And then to move across different workspaces, you can just do super arrow keys to go backwards and forwards. So the tiling on this is freaking awesome, I would say. You get the individual tiling per workspace. So if you have, like me, I have multiple monitors, I can have some that are not tiling while others can be tiled, and then I can move those applications across each workspace if I want to. And then on top of that, you get the workspaces where you can pin them. It's just really nice, I would say. Then the other applet up here is the sound applet. So we have a couple things here. We've got our output, we've got our input. We can obviously click these if we want to mute it. We can then change the output, the input. So, output, input, you can just change those things easily. And then we have the music player. So if you're playing any type of media, it will show up here. And then you can also enable the show media controls on panel. So if we click this, then we have some media controls here. Pretty damn nice. Then we also do have the Ethernet applet, so it's going to show your local IP address, the speed of which that the Ethernet port is doing, then the airplane mode, Wi-Fi, and then visible wireless network. So if you open this up here, you can easily connect to a wireless network if you have Wi-Fi supported. Now, I would say when it comes to the UI thing, it's probably not finished, but if we look up here, we can see how the UI is not really that great, I would say. But like I said, I think those things will be resolved in the coming months of more releases of the Cosmic Desktop. Then we do have the notifications here. So if we do receive a notification, it will go into this applet, and we can turn on Do Not Disturb. And then we have the Bluetooth applet. So we can easily turn it on and off. We can connect to different Bluetooth devices. We can look at other Bluetooth devices that will show up. And then the last one is the power applet. So we can open up the settings for the power stuff. We can do lock screen, log out. We can do sleep, restart, and then power off. So now that we're done with the top of the panel, we can go to the dock. And the dock is, we've got a search function here, which is called the launcher. Sorry, okay, the applications is just called the applications. This is actually called the launcher. So we can search basically anything that we want. And I would say this launcher is amazing at searching for things, way better than I think any desktop environment I've tried. I've tried GNOME. GNOME is pretty decent. KDE is pretty decent, but I definitely do like this one a little bit more. And you also can do math for some reason if you want to. So if I do 6, I don't know, plus 6, there you go. It shows the answer is 12. Whoa. And it does say here, time to search apps, or type question mark for more options. So if you do question mark, it does show up some of the things that we can do. So like I said, you can use this as a calculator if you want to, with unit conversion. Then we also do have file navigation with tab autocomplete, file search, recently opened document search, terminal or background commands, and a web search if you want to do that. So if you want to search for something, it does say example, you need to use the DDG, and then you would type what you want to search. So if we do DDG and we go, I don't know, Linux, or maybe just do Cosmic Desktop. So if we do want to do a search on this, we do the DDG and then we would type what we want to search. Now it does get a bit mixed up when I do search Cosmic, because the Cosmic apps start to show up, but there is a search results in Control-6. So you can also just do, instead of using your arrow keys or your cursor, you can just do Control-6 or Control-5 to whatever you want to actually activate. So we do click this here, and then we go back to our browser. We can see that it does search up Cosmic in the DuckDuck search engine, which is the default search engine that I'm using on the browser. Then we do have another workspace button. So just again, shows all your applications and your workspaces across all monitors. So I have 3 monitors right now, and it's showing all the workspaces across them. And we do also have a applications applet down here again, but it's on the dock. So you have a different icon for it, pretty easy to open. And when it comes to what applications do you get out of the box on the Cosmic desktop. So Cosmic includes, I think 5 applications out of the box. I guess 6 if you want to count the Cosmic Settings application. So you have the Cosmic Files application, the Cosmic Terminal, the Cosmic Text Editor, the Cosmic Store, and the Cosmic Media Player. And I would say all of these applications are pretty damn good. Of course, there is some things missing when it comes maybe to like Cosmic Files, some like some UI things that are missing, like maybe move to option, or maybe when it comes to the sidebar, there's some things missing with like mounted stuff, or like you want to view different stats with different folders. Some of those things are missing. But besides that, I would say all of these applications are extremely good for what you get out of the box. So the first one we'll look at is Cosmic Files. This one is, pretty good, I would say. I think the developers have done an amazing job with it over time. It's just getting better and better. So of course you do have the sidebar here, and this shows your home, your documents, your downloads, your music, your pictures, your videos. And then of course, if you want to add anything else to the sidebar, like for me, I have a server PC. So I've mounted some of my network folders on that server PC that I can click on if I want to. So like, for example, we click on drives, it is going to mount the network drive because we've already logged into it. And then there we go. We can look at the drives folder on that server PC. Then when we look at further at the top here, we have file, edit, view, and sort. So on file, we can do new tab, new window, new folder, new file, open, open with, rename, reload folder, add to sidebar, restore from trash, move to trash, close tab, and quit. Then in edit, we have cut, copy, paste, select all, and history. Then in view, we have zoom in, default size, zoom out, grid view, list view, show hidden files, list directories first, show details, gallery preview, settings, and about Cosmic Files. And then in sort, we have A to Z, Z to A, newest first, oldest first, smallest to largest, largest to smallest. So like the first thing is with sort, for example, one of the things that is missing from this is the type option. I actually like to use the type option sometimes, just to organize folders first and then pictures second. But I guess A to Z is working perfectly fine also. Then we can look at the list view here. So that's what list looks like. And then we also can enable show hidden files. So if we go back to home here, you can see the hidden files in the home folder. We can then also easily zoom in and out if we want to. And of course you can just do control and scroll, or control plus and minus if you want to do it that way. Then I think by default, one of the things that are enabled is show details. So when you are on an application, it is going to have this sidebar here of the information of this image. And it also does show, like the size, the resolution, created, modified, access, the type of the image, open with, the owner who owns the file, by owner, group, and other. And if you want to look at images better, you can go, like, let's say this SpaceX image here, we can click on the full screen button and it will bring it up nice and big. Now, if you have noticed, one of the applications that is missing on Cosmic is the Cosmic Photos application. That isn't available. And I guess this kind of does solve that problem for now. We can easily just full screen it in the file manager and look at it like that. But I do think in the future, a Cosmic Photos application would be nice, because then you could add things like, when it comes to like annotating on it, or you want to add some text to it, or add maybe some simple effects or something, or blur something out, that would be really cool to have as a photos application. And then on the edit here, like I said, we have the cut, copy, paste, select all, and history. One of the things that is not there is the move to button. So if you right click on, like, let's say this video folder here, we can't move this. I guess the only way we do it is we just do cut and paste, which is perfectly fine, I would say, but there is a move to feature that should come in the future for this desktop environment. And then if we do go down the sidebar, we can see some more things like the trash, networks, and then the mounted drives that we have. Now, one of the things that are missing on this sidebar that I have asked about is the system mounted drive that you have. Other file managers do show your system drive as a mount so that you can easily access the root folder. In Cosmic Files, this isn't available. So what you have to do is go to your home, click the little pencil up here, and then cut all this out to your on the forward and there you go. Now we're in the root file system. So for example here, we have Dolphin file manager launch right now. And if we look at the devices down here, we can see how much is being used on that device. And of course, we do get to access the root file system that is like a mounted drive. So I do think that Cosmic should add that feature in the future so that you just get more simple information about those mounted drives. And so you can easily access the root file system without needing to go up to the pencil here and then enter it manually. And then when it comes to the network drive place, you can add a network drive here, which you guys can't really see it, but there was a button here where you can add a network drive. There it is there. It does support a decent amount of protocols for file transfer, either it be AppleTalk, file transfer protocol, NFS. We've got the SMB one from Microsoft, and then we do have the SSH file transfer protocol / SFTP and or SSH, which is what I am using, and then a WebDAV. So basically all the popular file transfer protocols are available for you to add. And then the last thing that we have at the top right here is the search function. So this is pretty simple, I would say, for searching with all types of different things. And I would say it is pretty damn quick when it comes to loading these things. So unlike Dolphin, I would say that takes a little bit, and same with Nautilus, this is just like so fast, I would say, when it comes to just finding all types of different things in your folder. And then the other one I forgot to show is the settings for Cosmic Files. So you can change the theme if you want to. If you want to do dark or light or match desktop, we can then do type to search. So this will search the current folder and all subfolders, or you can enter the path to the directory or file. So you can pick, how the search should work. And then there's also the single click to open. So if you don't like double click, you can easily enable that. Then we have the Cosmic Edit application, I'm pretty sure it is called, or Cosmic Text Editor. This application is pretty simple, I would say. You can create as many tabs as you want. When it comes to viewing different, like let's say logs, like error logs or crash logs, they're not color coded. This might be because the file I'm using isn't the right file type for showing that, but it does show it pretty nice. Shows a number here of each line. Then we've got the file here where we can do new file, new window, file, open recent file, close file, open project, recent project, close a project, save as, revert all changes, document stats, or Git management. So if you want to do Git management and all that, you can do that. Then in edit, we have undo, redo, cut, copy, paste, select all, find, replace, find and project. And then in view, we have indication, zoom in, default size, zoom out, word, warp, show line numbers, highlight current line, settings, and about Cosmic Text Editor. So wide range of options to choose from. I would say that over time, I bet this thing will just get better and better. I personally do use KDE's text editor. I forgot what it's called, like Kwrite or Kate it's actually called. Kate is, I would say, a pretty damn good text editor and has a lot of things in it. So I do think over time this will be even better, I would say, as a text editor. And then, of course, we do have the Cosmic Terminal, which is also a pretty simple application, which is it's a emulated terminal window. So we got the file here, we can do new tab, new window, profiles if we want to change the profile of like the theme, I think it is, close tab, quit, edit, we have copy, paste, select all, clear, scroll back and find. And then in view, we have larger text, default text size, smaller text, next tab, previous tab, split horizontally, split vertically, toggle maximized, color schemes and settings. So the one thing that I have a gripe about the Cosmic Terminal is that I can't detach a Cosmic Terminal window. I like to sometimes do this where I'll open up a bunch of tabs in the terminal. Let's say I'm compiling packages for something like the Cosmic Git packages for it. And what I'll do is I'll just open a bunch of tabs, and then on KDE, I'll start detaching them and then I'll start tiling them. So I wish that was a feature where I could just right click up here and then there'd be a menu and I can just do detach tab and then put it somewhere else on a different workspace. But overall, the terminal is a fine application. Now, one application that is, I would say, extremely good is the Cosmic Store. I would say this is on par when it comes to something like Bazaar. It may not look as flashy as Bazaar, but I think it adds more just apps that you can look at. I think Bazaar is pretty much near on par with this, but when it comes to what you can do with it, well, it's a store. So this does support both system and Flatpak. I have Cosmic installed on my laptop with the Pop OS ISO, and I can install system applications within this store. So as you can see here on the homepage, we have the editor's choice, popular apps, made for Cosmic, recently updated, development tools, scientific tools, productivity apps, graphics and photography tools, social networking apps, games, music and video apps, apps for learning, utilities. And we can click on the See All button here if we want to look at a bunch of different applications within those categories. Then we have categories on the side of here. So we've got Create, Work, Develop, Learn, Game, Relax, Socialize, Utilities, Applets, Installed Apps, and Updates. So we can see here in the update section, for one, we have a couple of different updates that are available, and I would say it is pretty simple. We just do update all or check for updates if you want to check for updates more. And then on the top right here, we have manage repositories, which we can add, this is really neat, we can add the Cosmic Flatpak repo, which you may be wondering, why is there a separate Cosmic Flatpak repo that you need to add to the Cosmic Store? Well, it's because of the Applets category here. So where developers can create different applets for Cosmic, and then they can put it in the FlatHub repo for the Cosmic desktop, because these applets are all individual processes that are running. So they're not connected necessarily to the Cosmic panel or dock. So anyone can just create their own type of applet that runs in its own process, and then let's say, install it via FlatHub. They can chuck it in here, and then anybody that is checking in the applets category can look at the applets that are available. And as you can see here, there's not many applets right now, but these applets are all very useful for what the applets can do. We've got a clipboard manager here, an external monitor brightness applet, a logo menu, a Minimon, which is a system monitor, and then we have another system monitor and a weather applet. So the Cosmic Store is amazing, I would say. One of the other things is when it comes to searching applications, it is extremely fast. As you can see, it's just like, the one thing about Cosmic that I like is that it is very fast when it comes to either, searching, like indexing things on the Cosmic files, and then when it comes to searching applications on the store, it's just extremely fast, and it's like on par with Bazaar, I would say. And then the last one we have is the Cosmic Media Player. And I would say this is a pretty simple media player. It definitely does get the job done. It doesn't support things like HDR yet, but it is very versatile. You can do a decent amount of things on here. So we bring up the sidebar here. We can open up a folder if you want to. If you don't want to open a folder, you can just do open file individually. So we can do open folder, and we can select videos here. And then we have a nice list of all the videos and folders, like subdirectories that we have. And this also is not just a video player. As I said, it's called Cosmic Media Player. So you can play music on this as well if you want to. So if we added our music folder on a server, we can do that. So as we can see here is the music folder. We can click open, and then if we shrink down videos, we can see all of the music applications that we have that go from A to Z. And as you can see here, it is indeed working. It does show metadata of the song that is playing. So really nice, I would say. We can full screen it if we want to, and we can change the audio as well if we want to. And then of course, scrubbing through, it does indeed work properly. Of course, I'm not going to show the music because this is copyrighted music, and I'll probably get in trouble if I do showcase it in the video. And the last application that I forgot to talk about is the Cosmic Screenshot application. So this is a pretty simple application, I would say, for taking screenshots. It does bring up an overlay here. This one will capture the whole display. This will capture individual applications, and this will capture if you want to create your own window size, and then capture button, and then save to pictures, documents, or clipboard. Now, of course, in the future, I would like to see a recording feature, which it is opened as an issue/feature request. So at some point, they will probably add that into the screenshot application. But for now, it's literally only for taking screenshots. So now that we have shown what you get out of the box when it comes to the look of it, the wallpaper, and then when it comes to the applications that it includes and all of those applications, how good they are, now it's time to look at what can you do when it comes to the Cosmic settings area, and then when it comes to customization, what can you do with Cosmic? So we do have the network and wireless here. We can go into Wi-Fi, where we can easily connect all of these visible networks. And we can also add a manual network, which will open up a GNOME application for adding a manual Wi-Fi connection. So I do reckon at some point they will add their own type of Wi-Fi like configuration application. Then of course we do have the Bluetooth again. We have the accessibility. So when it comes to accessibilities, I would say it's almost complete. When we look at the UI creation that they did, there's a couple of things that are missing with accessibility, but they do have a wide range of options available, like a screen reader, a magnifier. So we do turn this on here, we go on, then it does follow the cursor, which is pretty cool. We can then do, if we do enable it again, we can see, use these shortcuts, super plus equal, super plus period to zoom in, super plus comma, and super plus minus to zoom out, and then super plus scroll with your mouse. And we do have some extra options here, like view moves continuously with pointer, which is doing right now. View moves when pointer reaches edges, and then view moves to keep your pointer centered. And then if you want to customize more, there is the zoom increment, so we can change that, which was on the overlay. Toggle magnifier on/off in the applet on the panel. Which for me isn't added currently, but I'm guessing that it should be added on the top of the panel here by default, but I guess for me, it's just not there. And then of course, the zoomed view moves again for if you don't want to do the overlay way. Then we have the desktop settings. So this is where we can customize a wide range of Cosmic. So if we go into the first one, which is wallpaper, we can do same wallpapers on all displays. So for me, it's ticked right now, but we can turn it off where we can do individual ones for each wallpaper on each monitor. Then we have the wallpaper fit. So we can do fill or fit screen. And then we can do slideshow. So we can change the image every 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours. Then what we can do is we can either add a image to this or we can add a folder. So for me, we can do open new folder, we can do pictures, and then we can add our wallpaper folder that we have. So here it is here, we can click add. And then as you can see, here's all our wallpapers where we can easily change it, as you can see. Then the next one is the appearance page, which includes a ton of customization when it comes to the colors, dark and light mode, automatically switch between light and dark mode. So at the top here, we have import, export. So this is where we can import different types of themes that a user might want to share around. So for me, I've discovered like the cappuccino themes, for example. So we can click on import here, and then we can click on Cosmic Desktops because that's where it is. We can go to themes, Cosmic settings, and then we can add a .ron or roan file type. So for example, we can change it to the mocha theme. Let's change it to a blue theme if we can find it. So here it is here. We can click open. And then as you can see, the color theme has been changed globally. And then of course, if you want to share it, we can do the export, name it whatever you want, and then share it to a friend, and then they can use that theme color. Now, one thing I would really like to see with this desktop appearance stuff, which I'm pretty sure Cosmic developers already know about it, is that with the import and export, it'd be really cool if you could actually export everything of the Cosmic layout. So if you want to, for example, you could have multiple different .run files of different themes and different Cosmic layouts that you can import. So maybe I want to have my panel in dock for one day, and then the next day I want to change it to where the dock is on the side and the panel's on the bottom or on the other side. You can just change it easily without having to do it all manually. Then of course, as you can see here, we have the dark and light modes. You can easily switch between it. I would say the light mode is probably the best that a light mode can be. I remember there was some people that didn't like this light mode. I think it's perfectly fine. When it comes to, you can like see the actual applications properly. It does a good job of doing that. Then we also, like I said, we have the automatically switch between light and dark mode. So we do enable this here, switches to light mode at the next sunrise. So I don't know how it gets this information. I'm guessing it uses one of the services on Linux, which just uses your IP address to guess where you are. So like for me, it would just be Melbourne. So we'll just base it on the next sunrise in Melbourne. And then we have the accent colors here, so we can easily change this. Of course, we do have an actual theme applied, so it's kind of like doesn't work fully. And then we can add a custom one if we want to, so we can add whatever type of color that you want, which if you remember in the older Cosmic videos, I went absolutely insane on this theming stuff and made it extremely beautiful. Totally definitely didn't look absolutely terrible, but you can easily do that. You can really just customize it the way you like, where you can even do changing the application or window background color. You can do the container background color, the interface text tint, the control component tint, and then you can also do use theme accent color as active window hint. So you can really just change it to the way you like it. The next one is style. We can do round, slightly round, and square. So you can choose between which one you like. You want something more sharp, you can easily do that. And then you can also change the interface density. So if you want it compact, like usually I'll have it set as compact, you can do compact, comfortable, or spacious. So you can really just choose to whatever you like. And then the next one is window management. So some people don't like having the colors around the window that you are clicked on currently. So you can change this. You can either make it extremely thick, and you can just keep going and going. You can make it as thick as you want, where it actually starts going over the application. So that's okay. 64 is the highest that you can do. And then if you want to, you can fully remove it if you don't like that. So if you just keep going and going and going and going, bada bing, bada boom. Now the icon looks like every other application on most other desktop environments. And then there's also the gaps around tiled windows. So you can, if we do enable tiling on here, which it already is enabled, we can easily resize this to whatever you like, up to 64. Then we have the system font, so we can change to whatever font that you would like, and the monospace font as well. We can change that to whatever you like. And then we have the icons in toolkit theming. So this is very nice, where we can change the icon pack of the Cosmic desktop to whatever you like, and you can apply the theme that you have applied on Cosmic to GNOME applications. They are going to add theming to Qt applications as well, but that might be a bit difficult, I hear, so that may or may not happen. But for GNOME applications, you can enable it, and if we do launch a GNOME app here, let's say resources, for example, we can see that it fits the theming of the Cosmic theme, which is all just CSS theming. So it doesn't necessarily break the application, it's just changing the colors of that application. Similar to what Linux Mint does also now on their desktop environment on Cinnamon. So the next part with the desktop category is the panel, dock, window management, and workspaces. So with the customization, like I said, we can go into panel here and we can do automatically hide the panel, which is at the top here. We can position the screen. So if we want it positioned on the left, we can do that. We want to position it on the right, we can do that. If we want to position it on the bottom, on top of the panel or under the panel, we can do that. So we'll just put it back to top. We can do show on all displays as well. So we can show it on a specific monitor if you want to. We can also do gap between panel and edges. If we enable this, we can now see there's gaps between them. We can extend the panel to the screen edges if we turn this off. Then as you can see, it looks like that, which looks pretty neat. Then we have the match desktop appearance, light or dark if we want to, and the size. So we can make it extremely big if we want to, like extremely big, or we can make it extremely small. And then there's the background opacity. So if you want to make it a little bit clear, a little bit transparent, you can easily do that. And then here comes the fun part, or more fun part, where we can add different applets to the panel and the dock as well, which I'll explain very shortly. So this is where we can change all this. So we can move each segment. So we've got the center, the start, center, and end segments. So if we want to move the workspace button over to where the power button is, we can do that. As you can see, now it's over there. We can add it to the center, and now it's in the center. We can then do add applet, where we can add other applets to this. So if we want to add the accessibility applet, we can easily do that. And of course, if you don't like something, you can remove it. So like input sources, for example, I'm never going to have a different language, so I can just remove it, and it's been removed. Then we have the dock, which is pretty similar to the panel, but it's a dock. So we can do configure here, and we can add basically the exact same things as we want. Now, the only thing about this is the dock of the way how it shows different applets. It will show them a lot more bigger, even if you have the dock on a smaller size versus the panel. So for example, applications shows it as a word up here, but down here, it actually shows an icon. So that's the difference between panel and dock, basically, is how these applets are going to be shown if it's on the panel or dock. So if you want, like, let's add the numbered workspaces, for example. There you go. We can easily click this, and this is per workspace. So you could have 2 workspaces there, and then over here I could have 4 workspaces, and it would show that per workspace. So that's pretty cool. Then we have the window management, which I did show off in the applet. So it's basically the same thing. You can do the super key action. So depending on what you want to open, if you want to open up the launcher when you press the super key, there you go. But if you don't like that, you can do workspaces, open applications, or disable if you want to. Then if you don't want all of these window controls, let's say you want to be like on the GNOME desktop where it literally only has the close button, you can easily disable this where it's only that if you want to, or the show active window hint, you can also disable that. And then there's the focus navigation. So we can focus follows cursor. So if we do enable this, and let's say we want to switch to a different application, let's say OBS Studio, my cursor will jump to that application, which is pretty neat. And then you can change the delay of how long it takes to do that, or you can do cursor follows the focus. Then we have display. So this is where, well, we can change the refresh rate. If you want to mirror something, enable or disable it, the resolution, the refresh rate, like I said, variable refresh rate, the scaling of it, and then also an additional scale option and an orientation. And the reason that there is 2 scaling options on Cosmic is because the scaling one goes 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, 225, 250, 275, 300, and then additional goes up by 5. So if you really want to do really individual fine tuning, I guess, of scaling, you can easily do that on the Cosmic desktop. It doesn't restrict you to just these scaling options. Then we have the sound setting here, where again, we can change a bit more about the output and the input. So we can change the volume, the output device, the profile of that device. So for me, I have some different options here that I can do with the interface. We can do the balance. If we want to do left or right, we can do that. And then you can also do amplification. So if you want to go over 100%, you can easily do that. And then on input, of course, we have the volume, input device again, the profile, and then amplification. Then for me, in power and battery settings on a desktop PC, we have power mode, so we can extend the battery life, balance mode, or high performance. And these do work for me. When I'm on extended battery life, I use around, I think it's like 222 watts roughly. And then if it's on balanced or high performance, it goes to around like 250 to 260 watts when I'm playing usually like video games, or it usually will actually peak to around 300 roughly. And then we have the the power saving option, so we can turn off the screen after 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or never, and then automatic suspend. We can do 15 minutes, 20, 25, 30, 45, an hour, 80 minutes, 90 minutes, 100 minutes, 2 hours, or never. Then in input devices, we can go to keyboard here. Again, we can change the input source, more languages. We can do the alternate characters key, the compose key, or caps lock key, which for alternate characters, we can do none, left alt, right alt, left super, right super, menu key, caps lock. And then in compose, we can do none, right alt, left super, right super, menu key, right control, caps lock, scroll lock, print screen. And then for caps lock, we can do caps lock, escape, swap with escape, backspace, super, and control. And we also do have keyboard shortcuts here where we can customize the shortcuts to our liking. Now, last time we were looking at keyboard shortcuts, you had to manually type the shortcuts. Well, now you don't have to do that. You can do Control plus Enter D. There you go. We have one shortcut there, easily done and added. So you can add these shortcuts now without needing to type it manually. You can easily just press the button combination that you want to do, and it will do it for you. And of course, when we look through here, this is the managed windows option. We have the move windows. So we have a wide range of options. We have the navigations. We can change all types of different navigation things. The system navigation. We can change the window tiling if we want to, and the customs. If you want to add a custom name and command to do something, you can easily do that. Then in applications, we have the default applications. This is where we can change some things. For me, some of the things are still set to KDE Plasma because that's the default desktop that I'm using currently. We have these startup applications here. So I have double of this because for some reason, when I moved to Cosmic, it creates another shortcut for my Stream Deck, which actually causes a bug, which I just need to remove this to fix it. But you can add all different types of apps that you want to start up when you log into the desktop environment, which as you can see here, you can add all types of different applications, to start it up on when you log into Cosmic. Then in application, the last one we have is X11 applications compatibility, X11 Windows System application scaling, and global shortcuts. So in here we have the global shortcuts for X11 apps that are running. So we can tell it how much to see when it comes to our keyboard inputs, our mouse button presses. So we can do no keys, modifiers, which is super, shift, control, and alt, all keys while modifiers, super, control, or alt are being pressed, all keys, mouse button events in X11 applications. So you can really decide how much you want these X11 legacy applications to see, your keyboard or mouse. Then we have X11 Windows System application scaling. So we can either do optimize for gaming and full screen apps, which means X11 applications may appear slightly larger / smaller compared to Wayland applications. Optimized for applications, games in full screen X11 apps may not match your display resolution or maximum compatibility mode, which is X11 applications may appear blurry on high DPI screens. So you can choose between, how you want these X11 applications to scale. And then we have the preferred display for games in full screen apps, X11 applications. Now, this is where you can pick which X11 applications you want to spawn. Now, this is only going to happen if the X11 application actually tells the compositor where it wants to spawn. So for games, for example, this doesn't really work properly because Wine in X11 doesn't tell the compositor where it should spawn, which should be the main monitor that you want it to spawn on. But if the X11 application wants to spawn, it asks, hey, where should I spawn? Then the Wayland compositor on Cosmic can say, hey, spawn on this monitor, which will be selected via this list here. Then we have the time and language, so date and time. We can change the time zone. We can change to 24-hour time if we want to. We can show the seconds, first day of week, and show date in the time applet. And then we have the region and language. So this is where we can actually add more preferred languages. So it says the order of languages determines which language is used for the user interface. Changes take effect on the next login. And then we can change the formatting, which for me, I think the formatting is not set correctly. It might be because I'm using Australian English, maybe, or it's because I'm using the KDE Plasma desktop as default, so it doesn't have the formatting set up correctly. And then we have the system and account. So we can go to users here, we can change the user, the full name, username, password, and if we want the user to be an admin account. And then we can look at the about section here. So this will show the information about your Cosmic and Linux distro that you're running. So what I'm going to do now is customize the desktop to some type of layout so you guys can see what you can really do with this desktop environment. So as we can see here, we have now changed the desktop to something that I would probably use on my desktop. We got the panel here at the top, we have the dock on the left, we have some transparency on it, we do have some extra applets that are not part of Cosmic, but they are in the Cosmic store as user created applets. So we've got like our system monitor here, and then we have the weather, and then we also do have the clipboard manager, and then we have the workspaces down here. When it comes to Cosmic, they do have an applet where if you do minimize an application, instead of minimizing the app into the shortcut, it will create another shortcut, which you can remove this. If we go to Cosmic settings here, we go to dock, we go to applets, we can remove the minimized window. So if we do that, then as we can see, the applets will actually just minimize away normally, and they'll just go into the shortcut here. And if you don't want to muck around with this customization, let's say you just want to like get a certain layout and then customize it a little bit if you don't like something, there is an app called Tweaks for Cosmic. So we do open this up here. This includes a lot of things. One is color themes. So if you don't want to muck around with colors and you can't find any color.ron files online, you can just grab it from here, which actually grabs it from a website that is called cosmic-themes.org it is called, where you can look at all user-generated themes that you can easily download. But of course, in Cosmic, the Cosmic Tweaks app, you can just easily grab it from here. Then we got the dock, the panel, and then we got the layout. So if you want to change it to like, let's say we want to change it to Ubuntu, you want to change it to Windows, Mac OS, Cosmic, you can easily click on this. So for example, let's say the Windows one, it will apply everything that is needed that is similar to the Windows 11 layout. And then also this does support snapshots if you want to do that. So when it comes to what is left with the Cosmic desktop, well, there is a decent amount of things that still remain with this desktop environment that I think will take a lot longer before it's actually a main contender for a desktop, and that's perfectly fine because it is a beta currently. They still have, at least I would say, I would probably do another 2 beta releases, or maybe just 1 more beta release before an official 1.0 release. So when it comes to what is left, something like the automatic theming is something that they have planned. So when you have a wallpaper set, it will just figure out the colors for you and apply it. Then some small things like being able to purge Flatpak application config and data on the Cosmic store, because that isn't an option that is available yet in the store. This is really good if you want to remove the remaining runtimes or configs, like data that you have left behind when you uninstall a Flatpak application, because if you don't know, it does not remove those that data that is left behind. It does not remove that. Things like the restore session on Wayland, this doesn't seem to be a thing currently, but it will be in the future when it comes to the blur and frosted glass support. So this will be something that will be supported on Cosmic at some point, and it will make it look very, I guess you could say, like a blur with a frosted glass effect to it, which will make, I would say, the desktop look a lot more I guess you could say modern, basically what Mac OS looks like, and Windows as well, I'm pretty sure has a similar glass blur frosted glass effect. And there's some other things like being able to add per application volume control in the volume settings. So this is something that both KD Plasma and GNOME have. So at some point, this will be a feature also that will be added because they do have a concept design for it. And then other things like being able to do monitor brightness control. There's already an applet that can do that, but integrating it actually into the desktop, I guess, is something that they'll do in the future. And then of course, the other ones will be like HDR, for example, and those types of features, the more bigger features that will take longer, will be available after the 1.0 release. So you won't see HDR until after the 1.0 release. And of course, when it comes to bugs on this desktop environment, yes, it is a little bit buggy still. There's some things like when I try to copy and paste some text, let's say in a Cosmic application, it can actually freeze the application. I have already reported that problem. Another one is randomly sometimes when you're clicking on different applets, you can actually crash the panel in dock where it just completely disappears and won't respawn, where you have to run, which is really good. You can actually run Cosmic panel in the terminal if you want to. So if it does crash, you can literally just type cosmic-panel and it will just relaunch itself. But things like that, where you can see that this desktop is still a beta, it still needs more bug fixing, and there's still plenty of features that are roughly left on the desktop. But I do think that this desktop is already pretty usable for a lot of people. And there is another application that I did report that actually causes a lot of problems, which I reported originally in the other alpha releases, but I didn't know that it was this application that was actually causing the crashing, which was called Wallpaper Selector. This application allows you to grab different wallpapers for your desktop from Wallhaven, and when you have this app installed, things like your app launcher, when you scroll, it instantly closes at a certain point where you're scrolling. When it comes to opening Wallpaper Selector, it will actually delete all of your applets on the panel. So I've already reported this bug to both the developer of Wallpaper Selector and to the Cosmic developers, and basically it requires some type of shortcut update so that that problem can be fixed. And the last one that I'll talk about is gaming on the Cosmic desktop. Is it ready for that? I would say no, it is not. I maintain this very big list of games for the Cosmic desktop of all the issues that can happen on X-Wayland and Wayland and on different hardware. So I've been updating this roughly every month or so, or when it comes to a new tagged release of Cosmic, I will update it, or if something really big changes with the way it behaves, I will update this. And of course, I'll do launches as well, which they usually have no issues, except that they create their own applet status app indicator. So that's another thing that is missing, is that your applets will not go down into the actual applet status applet thing that is on Cosmic. But as you can see, some issues like Doom Eternal does not work currently, and you can't get into the game. It instantly minimizes itself when clicking on the game, and it flickers heavily on the intro. So that can cause epilepsy warnings as well on Cosmic. Until that problem gets fixed, that can be an actual pretty big issue. Or, for example, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or Witcher 3 can't use the cursor in the game and won't pick up the keyboard input either. Enshrouded, heavy artifacts on screen. Forza Horizon 5, a simple black screen. There is still a decent amount of things that need to be improved for the X-Wayland experience. Now, when it comes to Wayland experience, there is bugs with it, but I would say there is less bugs. So over time, I think when Wayland gets enabled by default, this won't really matter, where the Cosmic developers can just fully focus on the Wayland gaming issues on their Wayland compositor. So the conclusion with the Cosmic desktop on beta 1 is that you can do a wide range of things on it. It offers a wide range of customization. It has a lot of different applications. The developers are all full-time paid developers, which is something that you don't really see in a desktop environment realm of things. So they're constantly working on it, constantly trying to improve it. I'm pretty sure they all work at System 76. I forgot the location. But they all work in-house together. As you can see, there's a picture here, all trying to just, improve their products, improve the Cosmic desktop, etc., etc. And if you do have a problem with the Cosmic desktop, I would either, if you know what particular part of Cosmic is causing the issue, you would go to the individual project of that. So let's say it's a Cosmic settings issue. You go to the Cosmic settings, you would open up a issue in here. Of course, you have to make a GitHub account, click on new issue, and then write out the issue that you're having and try to explain as much as possible what the problem is. But if you don't know what it is, just go to the Cosmic Epoch GitHub project and open up your issue. As you can see, there's 1.1k issues open. So open up one there, and the developers probably will reply if there is a fix for it or something coming in the future. And of course, if you have an idea or feature request, you can open one here. I think the Cosmic developers are all welcoming when it comes to new features that can be implemented into the desktop environment. So I think that is the conclusion of this video. I really do see Cosmic becoming a top contender desktop environment in the Linux space, because it's basically a, if KDE and GNOME had a baby, is basically what is happening here. It offers a similar layout to GNOME in macOS, you could say, but it allows you to have some flexibility with what you can create, what you can customize, all of that. So if you guys did enjoy this video, definitely give it a like and definitely subscribe to the channel also. And thank you to my supporters. I'll show a text across the screen. They give me money every single damn month. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.